Good morning, everyone. Welcome along. Welcome to Steel Horse Station. Oh, sleep in the eyes. Got to get that coffee going in. It is just gone 7 a.m. here in sunny Melbourne. Say sunny Melbourne, but it feels like winter is coming on way too quickly. Although not at all challenging compared to some of the places that you folks live. John, I can see you there. Great to have you back again. It must be hard for you guys watching me twice in one day, but much appreciated nonetheless. And there you go, 10 o'clock at night in England. And pleased to see you got to the bottom of your little auto drive mystery. I hope that means you've been able to completely recover your position on the Oaks. What ended up being the conflict? And while I'm doing that, let's jump across into Newlands, which is where we are today. And I need to go there. And let's go. Now, what have we got here? Just getting light. Why are you illuminating the daytime? I can turn you off for the minute. Oh, that's no good. Do you know how you managed to have the problem? Oh, that's a good thing. You've had a new inspiration for how to tackle the map, I take it. I know I've had that sort of thing happen myself and decided that sometimes it's just easier to start again. Yeah, in fact, I did that on this map, as I recall. The way I chose to start this map didn't really work for me. Now, what we want to do here is just take. Where am I going here? We want to undo those. Jump in here. Just get a couple of batches of trees sold while the light's coming up. So what we need to, we're into October, as you can see, and what we need to get done today is we desperately need some corn grist for the pigs, which means harvesting our cornfields. We got all of the corn maize off and in the bunker last time, so at some stage we need to tamp that down. Oh, cool. Yeah, the contracting on Oaks really kicks you along and enables you to particularly if there's enough contracts that you can be a little bit selective about it, and it allows you to take on things that get you bigger equipment and kind of afford some fields to really give you some variety in your options of how you begin. Oops. Let's try getting that at the correct height. Not actually square. It's a little better. Thought it was a little better. It wasn't. It was worse. That's better. Just give you a bit of a nudge. Sort of on there. Put those up and send you off to the tree cell. Possibly. Oop. You can't reach the tree cell. I find that very hard to believe. Now you can reach the tree cell. Okay. The dog's up and awake, trying to communicate with someone 2 houses over, but from within the house. Just excuse me for one moment, viewers. Rightio. Now we can turn you off. Get stuck on the wall. G'day, Hodge One. Greetings. Hope you are well today, sir. I'm just trying to decide where we're going to begin. I think we'll begin with the corn because really our most pressing activity is to get some feed for the pigs, as I suspect. Yeah, so cows are fine for the moment. These pigs are actually fine. They're just missing... It basically lies. So it says that if you've got 3 out of the 4 food groups, they're fine in the Maize Plus stuff. That's not true. You need all 4, or at least your feed concentrate. It has to be there because clearly they're not recovering, but they will as soon as we've got some grain grist there. And the same for the main ones. They've only just come off. So if we can get some grain grist sorted. What was I doing here? I was putting some fertilizer into there, which I'll just finish off, and then we'll go down. We'll go 2 over. We'll go and get our corn harvester sorted. I only had a quick look at the ModHub before I started up. Looks like there's another map which I didn't recognise. And only a couple of mods have been released, so nothing that immediately took my fancy. What are you doing? There we go. It's been quite a lot of maps and updates and things in the last 3 weeks or so. I suppose a bunch of them just need to release a new version to deal with the shaders. In fact, what am I doing? Let's turn that engine off for the minute. We will come back here at some point and do the other two that need some compost. That's where I need to be. And we want a harvester with a corn header. Harvester's all fueled up. That's a good start. Money going into the bank. That's always a good way to start the day. Can't think of a time when I didn't like seeing a higher bank balance in the morning than when I went to bed. Can't say it happened as frequently as I would like, but nonetheless, it feels good. Yeah. Just get you tootling across. We'll go across here. Across the edge of our grass. So you can see I also managed to get the canola planted in where we had the maize, so our rotation's underway. This month will be about sorting out the wheat and barley in those two fields. Rather a large weed population there. It's easy enough to deal with. And you can see over here where I've started clearing but not got very far with the extension for this field. So the main things we're looking for next are to just get a little bit more land so that we can make a decent sized oat field for planting in the spring, and also a grass field. Or alternatively, we'll put oats over the back and put our sugar beet somewhere new. In fact, that might be a better plan. I was thinking that sugar beet might go fairly well at the end there along the freeway. I'll show you where I mean in a minute. This is a very good yield up here. How about that? Liking that a lot. I didn't have a chance yet to look up that Class Jaguar 75 that you referred me to either, John. I will get to that. For those that didn't have an opportunity to join us on last night's stream on the Oaks, I am looking for a trailed grain harvester, so a tractor pulled one, which will make it by definition much older, but something that looks at place in FS22 in terms of a model. I have an idea for a challenge series that I want to do. If you don't follow Rusty Money Gaming, he's always worth a look and a subscription. He plays on console. Right, okay. Yeah, no, definitely looking for a grain harvester if I can. But one of the things Rusty likes to do is got heaps of challenges documented on his Discord. And he has some of his followers dream them up. He dreams them up himself. He likes to pursue, so a bunch of rules. Some of them are specific to maps or situations. Anyway, the concept of a couple of them appeals, so I'm inclined to actually combine the ideas. So we'll see where that goes. I've got a couple of bits of equipment I need to find in order for the story part, what I've got in mind to work. And we're full. Good spot to be full. Let's zip through here. Yeah, we'll put you on carting, I think, today. This trailer will do us nicely. You can see our sugar beet down there is not quite ready. So that timing's actually working out well for us. And we do have some sheep in the pen over there that I'm keen to move across to the meatworks to see how they go, because I noticed when I looked at the meatworks that lamb pays pretty well. But I don't know what the conversion rate from a whole sheep into lamb is, so we might have to figure that bit out. Nice as the sun comes up over the cornfield. Should get a, at those yield rates, should get quite a decent harvest off here, I think. It's just duck down the on-ramp, oh, the off-ramp rather, for the freeway. While you're unloading there, let's go and send you back. Plotted 3 load. So what's happening in Canada this week, Hodge1? Anything particularly interesting underway? You must be getting close to being snow-free, I would have thought. Come on. Hockey player. Okay. Ooh, old implement pack. That sounds promising. And the snow's gone in your area. Well, that's good. I would imagine it just, by definition, feels warmer with the snow gone, even if it's not particularly. Yeah, farmers have finished their winter maintenance and getting out and about. Okay, so the soil type has changed. We might have a look at the yield map in just a sec and see how that's unfolding. John was alerting it to us just before. Certainly looks really good up this side here. Looking at it, I'm inclined to, when we expand the field, just take that roadway out, that's for sure, because it's looking like pretty good soil up there. Let's just grab you. If we have a look at the yield map, I click on the right button, we'll see more of it. Right, so yeah, it's loam at this end, which is tending to suggest, if I find following the contours, there'll be a little bit of loam in here too before we go silty clay. But even for silty clay, the yield across the bottom wasn't too horrid. Yeah, maybe it was. We'll see. Let's duck up here and get another headland cut. Have any of you guys had a chance to look at the maps that we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks? Anything taking anybody's imagination? Capturing your imagination, I guess I should say. I had a bit of a look at the valley, the old farm. It's not quite. It's definitely not a bad map. I'm just sort of more on the edge rather than. Wow. Port Farms. Yes, so I had a quick look at the cinematic that I think Scroff did. That looks promising. Jason McKinley is at work, one would imagine. Fine to have you lurking in the background. We'd love to have you along, Jason. I thought he did a really nice job with that cinematic of Port Farms. Whoops. Try and stay off your crop there, champ. Certainly in the Oxygen David tradition, Court Farms looks beautiful, presents beautifully. Not entirely. It's one of those things you don't know until you sort of get it in and have a look at it. I thought Calmsden was beautiful, but I couldn't find a way to make it sort of work with my play style. There were just a few characteristics about the map that didn't work for me, although, you know, many months on, I've got a few more map editing skills than I had then, which can solve for some of those things. Okay, I give up. Why are you not falling in the trailer? That's better. But funny trigger on this one. While you're emptying, what do we want to do here? Let us bring you back round, because you don't have any trees in you currently, so that's good. So what we can do, that's the discharge side. Let's see if we can manage to get you lined up in the right spot. You over here. Put you on the back and send you off. You can find reverse. Can be a little bit tricky. Oh, I don't think I ever saw that, John. What are you stuck on? Come on. That'll do. We'll send you off again. Or some more trees. This one, pick you up out of there without managing to inadvertently capture a tree. What I want to do is try and get that aloe vera in there. Okay, that's an interesting concept. I certainly understand map makers wanting to produce, you know, their map their way. So I have no, and that's why I say, I mean, Calmsden's just beautiful. That said, there are features in FS22 that I quite like play with that go to my gaming experience, I guess. And so I also like to have those. Or in particular, the one I'm becoming, or that I look for more and more, is to have a beautiful map, but the ability to customize it to fit my story. Not in terms of, you know, radical departure from the map's intent, but just, you know, like any piece of property you buy, you get in and you want to change a few things in your yard or that sort of thing. I like the ability to do that. Your picture camera is going bad. Have you tried refreshing the... Oh, okay, I'm getting a little bit of... Why is the light looking crappy over there? It's not a, what I can say is it's not a YouTube connection issue, because the connection's fine. It's not a, the lighting hasn't changed. It's a bit odd. It might be that actual, it could actually be that the sun has come up outside and the camera hasn't adjusted in here. My picture now looks a little better to my end, but I can imagine the resolution might be, depending on what resolution YouTube's passing it to you at, it might have taken a little while to adjust, because yes, the sun just came up outside the window, so it probably changed the shadows in here quite markedly. Now, where are we up to? We need to go and harvest some more corn. Lighting is another one of the skills that I never paid much attention to until I started doing this, that I am still very much learning about. I do need a warmer light, so that, I think that's the term for it. The lights I have tend to, they're a bit stark and white. They don't accentuate the suntan very much. Not that there is much of a suntan at this time of the year. Pull you back. $66,000 in the bank. That's feeling a little bit healthier. Landscape on this map always reminds me a little bit of the valley that Chamonix is in, just at the the bottom of Mont Blanc. I mean, guessing it could be any European valley, but I did visit many moons or several moons ago a little village called Saint Gervais, which is about 40 minutes from Geneva, just at the entrance to that valley one Christmas, which was very pleasant. An unusual experience for my family, having Christmas in the snow. $77.21. Did I see that? Is that a really oh, to John Deere? So I don't think I found that one. The one I found on King Mods was really a really stark model. So, you know, big, flat polygons, shaded. It kind of looked like something that I'd put together in PowerPoint. And so somebody had obviously done a fair bit of work on it, and it may have been a fairly accurate representation of the piece of equipment, but made potentially for a, you know, FS15 sort of game, and it just didn't. It just looked terrible when you brought it in to this higher quality picture environment. Some stage we'll come and take that rubbish over there to the recycling centre. I'm just trying to do, for those that joined us late, and welcome along to the folks that have been steadily popping in wherever they may be and sitting there in the background. It's great to have you in. We just need to get some corn. I mean, we need to get the corn off here anyway, but in particular I want to get a trailer load into the grain mill. Lancy boy, welcome in. Goodness, we have royalty in the house. I don't believe I've ever seen you before, sir, in one of my activities, so welcome along. We use some of your stuff on the oaks. Great to have you here. Now let's just whack that out of there. Hey, we understand busy with work. It's very nice to have you along. As I've said a few times, I'm just appreciative that anybody bothers to watch at all. So, just kind of trying to do my thing, contribute a little bit to the community, because I'm found over the past year and a bit that it's so much fun. And just my dog has decided that the community would be better off with his participation. he'll settle down in a minute and decide that sleeping was far more fun than waking up. So anyway, the objective at the moment is we need to get some corn into the corn grist mill so that we can feed the pigs who are desperately in need of some of their primary feed group. That's our headlands cut. I reckon we might just go straight across. Keep it simple. Now, we need to... don't make much use of... we'll need some more grass. Well, that's what I was going to look at, was the pricing. Do that as we turn around on the row here. That fence means we could just do with another headland at this end, I think. We'll continue on. That's as good a spot as any. So turn and stick the pipe out, so to speak. Now, we were just going to have a look. So what I'm wondering is this area across here, if we sort of cut a field that was squarish off here and ran along like so, that'd be a nice long run for sugar beet, and then we could extend this field for a grain crop up into here, is my thinking. So where I was fiddling around and marked out CP1. And that would mean we need to buy 195, which is 60, and 196, which is 80, but 195 is the bulk of it. So that's not too bad. 140 would get us all of that area. And we're half the way there, so that might work. Let's run down and get the carter. It's feeling a bit like a plan. I mean, we've got to get the trees off the land we've bought already, and there's a few more trees over there by the freeway. But I kind of like the idea of putting the sugar beet into a longer field rather than a squarer field, if that makes any sense. Because we're certainly going to be using a trailed harvester for our sugar beet here for the foreseeable future. And I think we'll use the Grimmy rootster again. For those that are interested, we spent a little bit of time last night harvesting some sugar beet on a contract on the Oaks, and we were using the sugar beet harvester pack, which was a bit of fun. Had a couple of quirks to it that we needed to sort out, but we're getting the job done, and it's a little bit of a different experience than using the regular automated equipment. Now let's just turn around there, try and get this done without turning circles, kind of like the Queen Mary here. Yeah, so I reckon over there we'd get a nice, some seriously long runs, and it'd fit in really well with the way we've laid out the plan, the farm. I reckon that's probably getting close to, we must be getting close to the weight limit on this trailer, would be my guess, if there is one. There we go. So let's go and get the grist mill fired up. We'll go up this way because the roads are a little bit more sympathetic. I did have another idea, John, because we were talking about using that machine to that's for picking up the piles of sugar beet, and it occurred to me overnight that whilst I can't necessarily windrow them, I could use a blade, like a leveler blade, on the front of a tractor and just push the sugar beet into a big pile, which would load. So that might be an option. It's just a bit different. Come on, up you go. Just a little bit under horsepower for this weight. I think I can. There we go. So for those that haven't seen it in operation before, here is our grist mill that works with Maize Plus. Yeah, maybe. It was just another thought. Now, I'm guessing that's probably a couple of pallets of sugar beet sitting over there, because this grist mill will also cut sugar beet. So we can overload corn. Let's have a look. Yep, sugar beet cut. Let's have a look what's happening in the production. Grist mill, that's grain grist, which we hope to be making next year. Corn grain grist. I've only just realised that Newlands doesn't have the Maize Plus crops. Ah, there you go. I wasn't paying attention to that when I started out. I just sort of took Newlands because I thought it would be a fun map to play and I had a story idea. And then I thought, oh, well, we'll put Maize Plus on it. Now, what are we trying to do here? We are trying to make corn grain grist. So we need to activate you. And that's going to work pretty quickly, which is what we want. So while we're harvesting, they are producing pig food. No worries, Jason. Have a good day at work. Let's get off here without breaking anything. I did start to put some bales in the shed. We'll get the rest of them put away at some point. Get those piles. And I actually think we can sell some of the maize silage because we just don't consume, we don't have enough cows to consume it at the rate that we're producing it. The dog's being annoying. More coffee required. So which crops was Jason referring to specifically? Alfalfa would be the obvious one. Oh, clover. Yeah, so there's no clover or alfalfa on this map. Mind you, in the early days of Maize Plus, given what we were wrestling with, we wouldn't have, well, I would have struggled to get my head around it. I've struggled enough to figure out the feed requirements of the various animals. So it's not like we needed more variety. We're only just now getting enough fields for all of the grains that we need to be making whole grain grist. So certainly Maize Plus has a lot in it. I had a bit of a busy week, so I didn't manage to progress any of the animal husbandry ideas that we were discussing in the last stream here on Newlands. Oh, left one just to go on with. As we'll go back up that side, I think, while we're here. Let's try putting the header down, shall we? Yeah, I think in that respect we've been pretty lucky on here. I certainly don't feel the need to play with Maize Plus on every save, but I have and continue to enjoy the combination we've got on here. So with the enhanced animal mod and the meatworks, we've certainly got quite a few elements here, so just makes for a little bit of variation. I mean, it doesn't take much to put something and then suddenly find you've got a conflict, so the overall farm sim environment's just fluid enough that something's always changing, which is kind of the natural enemy of stable systems. %. Edgewater definitely has alfalfa, may also have clover, and of course its big thing is the swathing. I think that Edgewater's the first series in a while of Mr. Seedley Peas that I haven't had a chance to get into. Just with everything that I've had going on in the real world and trying to keep up with everything else that's happening. And let's leave you on because I'm just going to fill the trailer. I have been busy. I mean, that fire in the roller coaster, that was a cleanup. For those of you that haven't caught it, Silver Run Forest Farm, it continues to expand. The city of Silver Run has lost its treasured roller coaster and a goodly portion of the new sawmill due to a few misplaced lightning strikes. Would have helped if I'd put the pipe out and not park the trailer so close. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I haven't tried the swather at all. I initially thought that might be an option for the series idea that I was hinting at earlier, but it doesn't kind of fit my concept on Edgewater, unfortunately, and that's nothing to do with the Edgewater map. It's more just my concept doesn't kind of work there, and I haven't and the swathers didn't quite work in the way I was hoping for my concept either. So at the moment I don't have an idea that would take me to Edgewater. What I've got my eyes sort of tricked for at the minute is a 4x US map in this sort of vein of Middleburg. I think that would be ultimately a nice replacement opportunity for what we do here. I'm not aware of anything that's in the works or or coming, but I'm finding that 4X offers lots of options, as we're seeing on the Oaks. I mean, standard size does as well. Just got to approach it a little bit different. It's not like we're running out of things to do here, so you can make standard size maps pretty consuming and complex if you think about it. How does that contamination of the harvest work, John? Is that kind of like the same problem as getting your grass types confused between wet grass and conditioned grass? Is that the... I'm not overly familiar. We'll go back up the other end, so we've got the pipe on the outside of the field. Actually, where's the... Let's just cut another headland to get away from this fence. Yeah. When we fill this trailer load, we'll go over, take it over to the grist mill, of course, and then we should have enough feed that we can put some in the pigs and maybe do a load of lambs to the slaughter. And find out how that works. I can imagine that being exceptionally annoying. So, but that is the same issue. So you've spent all that time picking up 60,000 litres of clover only to pick up a tiny bit of grass somewhere on the edge, and it changes the contents of the trailer. Yes, that's exactly the same issue. We were having that down there when, but on much smaller scales with grass. I think when it first happened on this map, I don't think I was streaming. I was just setting things up, and I managed to convert a forage wagon that was almost full of grass from one type to another. But in the process, it just threw away, of course, the full load I almost had. Very annoying. The only solution I know is to do everything you can to get rid of the contaminants first. But that can be easier said than done, I guess. Right, down we go. I'm not in the vehicle I wanted to be in. That's better. Put that in. And off we go again. So what I was talking about with the lambs, the sheepers. So here's our sheep down here. We've got quite a few of them now. We're almost at we're almost fully stocked for the sheep pen, I think. And somewhere down here, they don't reproduce. Yeah, these ones are about to reproduce. So that will take us to fully stocked. I think we get 1.5 to 1 or something like that with the sheep. But these guys here are at their max price and getting on a bit. So what I'm keen to find out is, obviously they're worth 5,000 this way, but if we go across to the meatworks, I don't know, where are we? I don't know the conversion rate into litres of meat, so that's what we're going to find out, because when we go here, here, we come down to our lamb, 13,000, 1,000 litres, so we don't need very many litres of lamb for that to be quite valuable. So that's what we're going to be finding out, and that's about double the price of the pork. Now the pork conversion rate means it's not quite as lucrative as that, but it doesn't have to be all that great to make us quite a bit of money. So that's the experiment we're going to do in just a minute, and we get another load of corn grist out of here, or corn out of here to put in the grist mill. Down again. That probably sounds a bit like a practice that has some realism to it, John. Sort of strikes me that that could be the sort of thing that a farmer actually does to make sure he doesn't contaminate his crop. But you kind of almost need a narrower swather to be able to do that, and then a wide one to do your field. I can see you out there running around with the hand mower. I did see in one of the forums the other day somebody wondering if you could, he wanted to mow his grass around the house, but he didn't want to have to pick it up. And was there a mower mod that didn't leave a swath? It wasn't a mulcher. Thought that just sounded unnecessary. If you use the ride-on mower with the bag attachment from 82 Studios, you can pick it up as you go, and that seemed to me to be reasonable enough. Almost another tank off, so we're getting about 3 rows a tank here. Stop there, because otherwise we'll have the pipe in the crop. Persistent crows. Yeah. What have we got? And probably another tank again, I think. Trying to even you out a little bit in the trailer. That'll do the job. And around. The in-cab, we don't do much in-cab here, we're sitting right in the action. That's actually, at least it's pretty stable, but you are very much on top of everything there. And I'm in the crop now. It's hard to pick your line. You kind of feel like you got your nose pressed up against the glass. Little disconcerting. Didn't leave too many. Just felt like the perspective was just a little bit cramped. By any chance, Scooter, have you snuck in the background, and are you in a position to answer a question? Specifically, do you recall off the top of your head what the rate that sheep convert, or 3-year-old sheep convert to litres of lamb product? It's one of those questions where we'll only get an answer if he's here, I guess. Otherwise it'll just hang in the ether. Those stalks of corn can just sit out there as a testament to my inability to drive in a straight line. Little lower consequence than some of the drivers at Baku over the weekend who to be more wall touches than I recall. Some of them harder than others. I did enjoy the sprint format. Don't know what others thought. I thought generally speaking it worked pretty well. The comment that I heard that I agreed with, the one tweak I think they need to make to further enhance it is to ease the parc ferme rules a bit. I think it's a bit unrealistic and constraining for the teams to sort of do an hour's practice on Friday and then be in parc ferme pretty much for the rest of the weekend. I think that's doesn't make for the result that they're looking for. But yes, Steele's Folly, there you go. I also couldn't help wonder if Baku wasn't entirely the right circuit. Oh, a bit full and bogged. We got the wrong tyres completely on this tractor for this, what we're trying to do here. So being such a tight street circuit, the thing with the sprint is you want everybody, or as many people as possible, going for it and pushing the limits. And the trouble with the street circuit is the costs of stepping over the limit are extremely high. And so I don't know that that's necessarily the right thing, because what it tends to do is kind of lock people in. And I think we saw a lot of that in the race. People just sort of playing it safe because they'd used all of their spares budget earlier in the weekend. But just a thought. I think circuits with gravel traps would be particularly good, so that, yeah, there are consequences for people that make mistakes that take them outside the limits, but they're not car wrecking consequences. Now, is that full? Yes. So let's go do a couple of other things. And let's turn the harvester off first for the minute, because we won't come back here for a little while. So we'll take this up to the mill and tip it in, and then we'll pull out some corn grist, which we'll take round to the pigs, and then we'll take the lambs to the slaughter. What we can afford to do potentially is put another shed on the end of the grass there. Klaus, welcome along. Oh, I'm not saying you can't total the car in the gravel, but it's not as certain that it'll be totaled as it is if you run it into a concrete wall at a couple of 100 kilometers an hour. But yes, I've seen many cars totaled in gravel. You know, you've only got to get an aero service stuck in the dirt and flip it, and that's all she wrote. But it's very nice to have you along. So morning for Klaus, afternoon for Bruce Salter. Well, it's morning for me. It's not a problem. The oak stream is, oh, actually I haven't taken it off private because it was still processing when I went to bed last night. I will do that afterwards, but the oak stream will be up very shortly after this one. Let's put the corn in here. We had fun on the oaks last night messing with some little sugar beet harvesting equipment, which caused me to learn some things and speculate about a bunch of others, so that will lead to further experiments. Now, I can't remember. Can I get corn grist out of the pipe? We've only used this production once. I think I'd like to see them go another weekend with the same tire allocations that they had. So I think some teams made poor decisions with the tire allocations, which is what got them into trouble. And the way the tire allocations were set, there was actually a penalty if you flat spot your tires early on. You can't just swap them out. And I actually thought that was a good thing. Now, is there scope potentially for them to give one more type? Possibly. And what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to see if I go to that pipe there, will that let me unload corn grist, or have I got to pull it out? I just can't remember what comes out of that pipe. I know mulch does. I understand team biases too. So I thought, sugar beet cut, corn grist, we can. Excellent, that's what we want. I was particularly impressed with Oscar Piastri's drive, given how ill they said he'd been, and the fact that it was his first time to the circuit. Exactly, John. I always find it entertaining that, you know, Lewis complains bitterly about the tyres when it's kind of like, well, it's just another engineering component of the car. They're the same for everyone. If your car's not heating or enabling you to get the best performance out of the tyre, it's probably not the tyre's fault. I thought the mandated use in the qualifying for the sprint of the two tyre compounds was really interesting. And I thought it served kind of a dual purpose for them of, I'm hoping that was the train that just went past, of giving them some performance information. That's kind of where I think with the sprint now, they've got to think about their race weekend a little bit differently, and they can get a lot of useful performance information out of the sprint if they approach it in that way, you know. So I think you could see situations where the sprint is, particularly sprint qualifying, is used differently by different teams to achieve different things, and I think that makes for a more interesting weekend. Let's do that one there. I'm going to pop the rest of it. Into exactly. So I think the really on the ball teams will make some big strides in the next sprint weekend. Yeah, where are we here? Somewhere along here. I want to be able to drop you in there. So if we have a look at our pigs, they now have most of the, well, they have all the food groups. So They should come back to health. Okay. Now let's find. Oh, you won't be able to get out now because we're 11 o'clock in the morning. Just look away, folks. Oh, what fence? And you need to head back to potted tree load. I think it's 1,000% better than a free practice. I mean, and I think with a little bit of tweaking of those parc ferme rules, they can make better use of the Friday as well. So I think there are some things that they should be able to change on the Saturday without compromising everything. I mean, you certainly don't want them going back to a full qualifying car and a race car. I don't think those were the best days of F1. What am I looking for? I am looking for the other tractor. Did I get? Oh, I went through it. It's just sitting there. Unfold the plow. Take it off the back. No, I'm not a free practice kind of watcher as a general rule. Now, I want to find... Oh, that's where it is. Although I do, speaking of Japan, see, one of the advantages of our time zone is it's a very friendly place to watch. Only being an hour behind. And I piggyback on my son's service to be able to watch the race. So a typical race weekend, I watch qualifying with my breakfast on Sundays. And yeah, what are we trying to do here? I think, where is the... I think the trigger might be at this end. Oh, maybe it's not, actually. I forget where the trigger is along here. We're going to have a look. It was at the other end. How about that? Come on. Managed to make that fun. What are you caught on there? Can't go backwards, can't go forwards. There we go. Got back just in time. I saw that coming. Yeah, well, the family here is pretty well trained, and the advantage of if I don't turn anything on, I'm really making a meal of this, aren't I? If I don't turn anything on before I activate the race service, that works pretty well. Why can't I get... There it is. Now, the ones we want to put in are these guys. So there's 5 of those. And what else? So there's 228 in the pen, and overstocking is allowed. So we've got plenty of room when they give birth. It's just we don't want to do an extension pen here like we did for the others. 5 months, 9 months. So why don't we find some... Just for contrast, have I got any 6-month-olds? 7 months, they are pretty good. Let's select those. How many can I fit? Oh, 23. Right. So, let's go and conduct our experiments. How can we be stuck on something? There we go. So we'll head across to the meatworks. I mean, the one that usually catches me out is we have a TV in our kitchen, which generally in the morning is on the news. Now, most of the time, mainstream Australian media couldn't care less about F1, so you're not in too much danger unless something really big, like there's a really big crash. But of course, Mark Webber's doing a pretty good job managing Oscar Piastri's brand, and so he's getting a little more coverage, which inevitably results in a hyped up commentator talking about his wonderful 10th place and then just slipping in at the end, oh, and by the way, you know, Max won, or it's kind of like, oh crap, I didn't want to know that. Yeah, my advantage is that I'm not a big user. I reckon I've got probably 3 followers on Facebook. The only reason I created Facebook was so that I could get access to a couple of the community members modders who release stuff on there, and even then I have trouble joining their sites because I don't meet their rules for the number of people that follow and the like. I don't have Twitter or all the rest of that stuff. I turn Discord on when I want to talk to somebody. I'm not usually there in the background. Right, so here is, for those that haven't seen it before, our meatworks, a mod from Scooter's Workbench. Looks like we've got a little bit of meat of some sort out the front. We'll have a look at that in a second. So the way it works, you can see a bag of salt. We're just coming past there. That's the trigger for the salt input. But you bring your animal trailer and you back it up here. The trigger's pretty close to the door. And you can see the building storage is, these are all the animal types. And what happens is your animals, based on their age, get converted into some products. So what we're going to do first, so our 38-month-olds are worth $1,000 each if we were to sell them. If we put one in, now let's, why am I not? What is not happening here? Get up, straighten up, straighten up. So it uses the enhanced, is it the enhanced animal mod? Animals as inputs to productions. I just can't remember the exact name of the mod. And I'm not sure that it did Scooter say it was on his itch.io page. If you find Scooter's workbench itch.io page, I'm pretty sure he hasn't given me the link to put on here yet. That's where it will ultimately be available. Right, one of those, confirm, select, right, move to production, that's better. So we're going to move a Swiss Black Mountain to production, and we should find, so that sheep gave us 411 litres. So 40% of a pallet. Oh, it's actually more than that, but 411 litres. So as you can see, our $1,000 created 411 litres. And if we go over here, to here, 411 litres of lamb sells for what, about $5,000. So there's a really good return on the aged lamb. So 3-year-old lamb has a pretty good rate. So my first impression, this is where we want to be selling the older sheep. Let's have a look what happens for the younger pups. So we select one of those and move you to production. And so he only gave us 70 litres. So my read is this is the sort of facility where we want to sell the older sheep rather than the younger ones by a considerable margin. So that's what we will be doing. No worries. So we're going to sell all the ones we've got in the trailer because that's what they're here for. We're not cruel in that way. Once they get the smell. So that trailer load's produced 3,500 litres, which will create, let's have a look here. Let's check that my Swiss Mountain Lammers. Oh, there's another discount rate that applies. Okay. So it halves again. So it's not quite as lucrative as I thought, but it does mean selling the younger ones in won't work very well. Or won't make all that much money. We definitely want the older ones in here. Now, if we come around, what have we got in here? We have 5,000 litres of pork. We've got some gelatin. That's our... How did I end? What have I ended up? That's our gelatin. Right. So I think what we'll do... What's the pork price looking like? The pork price is not too bad. Oh, actually, it's not bad at all. 6,500. That works. I think we'll be selling some pork. You off here. Turn you on. There we go. If I'm not mistaken, I think I determined that I can auto load these pallets, these global transport pallets. Don't want full only. Any. And that is. Loading areas full. I'm sure I managed to put up one of these on here. That's it. That's the way it worked. Rightio. So now we'll go sell some. Sell some bacon cuts. Making bacon. Unfasten the belts, says John. We will, always a good reminder. Let's get you into the slot. They actually sell out of the global transport pallets, I've noticed here, without the belt unfastened. So there we go. So 30, near enough to 38,000 for that pig. So that's a lot of pigs you'd have to sell. So that worked pretty well. Just drop this trailer back in the loading slot. Which side is which? Auto load is the left. I might be able to pick that pallet up, which is probably lamb that dropped out there. Let's just do you like that. Oh, that was pork also. Did that load onto there? It's not. Evan Lovejoy, welcome in, sir. Hope you are having a good one. I'm not sure that that's universal, John. Because I would have been 50-50. I knew that I could sell at the market without undoing the straps. I do indeed, Evan. I don't believe you were in last week, but you were in the week before. You're somewhere stateside. I'm just trying to remember. Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. I am doing very well. We've just sold some lambs. Home of the Liberty Bell. Is that not the case? Not that I've ever seen it. Yep, so we've just sold a bunch of lambs into our meat process, well, sheep actually, into our meat processing work. It was a bit of a mix. So that's emptied our paddock out a little bit. Yes, I need to get over there and finish off the other half of the states that I haven't visited yet. We're about halfway through our cornfield here, so that's progressing. We've got corn grist in the pigs, so they're happier. It was close again with that train. You'd think I'd be paying more attention. I had a spectacular crash the other day. Flipped me halfway across the map. One of those where it's, oh, shame I wasn't recording that. Well, that's good. It's always important to like where you live. World's a big place. Some people spend their whole life searching for somewhere that they love. I must admit I'm a pretty big fan of Australia myself. I am gonna put the trailer just along the side of the building here, I think. Back off. Speaking of trains, not fast enough in reverse. Is it gonna be? Yeah, that's off the tracks. Got a little bit of produce sitting out there. We could do with one of those containers that I use on Griffin to put that in. Now, where am I heading to? I actually wanted to grab. Just park you up here for the minute. Now let's see. Might as well get those loading, just give them a bump along. We welcome all visitors. I often say to my American friends, come for a long time, bring as much of your money as you can and spend it all. That's what we like to see. Where is the vehicle I'm looking for? leave it down here somewhere? Yes, I did. Now what we want to do, let's just have a look here at our little tool. Pig food. I'm pretty sure it'll be energy food we need. Let's have a look. Pigs need energy food. Now I could put corn in there directly, but I not sure. See, if we use corn directly, that'll reduce the amount of corn grain grist we've got, and we've got nothing else. We have to buy for pig food when we run out of that. Whereas, relatively speaking, we'll get a bunch more beet pulp from the sugar factory when we, run the sugar beet through it. So, and beet pulp is not very expensive. So I'm thinking that a better strategy is to see if there's any beet pulp in the sugar mill, just to make sure. I've not actually been to Florida myself. Oh, we did have sugar beet pulp there. We got 1,300 litres. Well, that's better than a poke in the eye. So that might be enough just to satisfy the pigs for a minute. I've probably, my most time I've spent in the US would probably be in Texas. And then Texas, Connecticut, Massachusetts, California are probably my longest stays over multiple trips. I've probably been to the US 50 times, I'd reckon. So I was a bit fortunate in my career. Let's just run you down the hill here. As you can see, we've got a little bit of maize there to flatten down. Kind of need a heavier tractor to get that job done. And no, I was not in the army. I worked for a bunch of different companies, mainly in the, well, in technology, but either directly in the industry or on the customer side. I sort of split my career between the two. Looks like I got a couple of weeds, but that's all. Let's jump over and do a little bit more. Oh, I can't jump to that. Where are we? Where's the... I'll take you back over. That's the easiest way. I had lots of different jobs over the years. I started out as a systems engineer. Got a bit of a taste of first line management. Got a bit lucky in the right place at the right time. Became a project manager, which is probably my core professional competence. I did that for a while, and then into general management. That's perfectly understandable, John. It is time to be wrapping up. I'm feeling some hunger pangs, so I'm not far away from going to breakfast myself. I just wanted to do another load on the harvester here. I probably won't do a full trailer load, so you won't miss much, but thank you for being with me for the whole stream. That was very much appreciated. Have a good one, and might see you on the yolks at the end of the week. It'll be Thursday evening for afternoon and evening for most of you folks. Let's put a bit in there. Wasn't much left to load out of that, and off we go. It is, you can see the time. I've actually run the clock in my streams. It's up there in the top right hand corner. 3 minutes past 9 in the morning. So for those that watch on delay or pick this up some other way, the other two streams I do are on the Oaks. We do one of those on Monday evening Melbourne time, and then the other one is Friday morning, so in 3 days time from this stream. Same time slot. So that'll be Thursday afternoon, evening for the US and Europe, Friday morning for Australia. Well, not only is it 7:04 for you, Evan, but it's also yesterday. If you ever want to know what it's like in the future, just come on the stream and talk to an Australian, because we are already in tomorrow. Looking out the window, I can tell you tomorrow looks like a beautiful day. Yep, and there's only a 6-7 second delay. That's even better. %. We made good progress on the field here, so that's good. We might stop at the end of the row here, I think. I'll go and get the trailer. But for now, I think that's where we're going to leave it, folks. Thank you very much for joining me and keeping me company this morning. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I trust some of you will be able to pop in and say hi when we get to the Oaks on Thursday night. So until then, stay safe, have fun. See ya.